To be honest, there's still a lot of times where I think to myself, man, I'm 30 years old already. Like, I don't feel that old at all. In fact, I feel like I'm probably 10 years younger mentally. And a lot of you can probably attest to that too. Maybe you're 35 years old, maybe you're 40 or 50, or you might not even be 30 yet. You could be 22 or 25 and you feel a lot younger than what you actually are. Now, the physicality catches up to you. You start to get more backaches and pain and health problems as you get older, but mentally on the inside, we feel a lot younger. But it's just crazy because I've been thinking about this and how fast time seems to go. And as a kid, time seemed like it went by a lot slower, but the older you get, the faster time goes and it gets faster and faster. So I've been thinking, what are the top 30 things that I've learned throughout my life? The top 30 life lessons, if you will. So I put together a list of 30 things I've learned in 30 years that can help you guys out. So let's get started. So the first biggest thing that I've learned is get outside your comfort zone. It's so easy to be inside of a comfort zone where you go to school or you go to work and you do your job and you do the same mundane task every day. And then you go home, you watch TV, you eat some dinner, you shower, you go to bed, copy and paste. The next day you do the same thing all over again. And that is just a comfort zone, and your life will go by so fast if you do that every single day. But get outside your comfort zone. You know, go to open mic night, you know, go stand in front of people and sing something if you're nervous about it. Go talk to a person that looks cool that you want to be friends with, or talk to a girl that you're interested in. If you haven't traveled outside your state before, go outside your state and travel somewhere different that you've never been before. Do things that you've never done before. Always be trying new things. If you've never tried playing guitar before, pick up a guitar and try playing it. If you've never done a 5K obstacle course race before, do that race and see how you feel at the end of it, and you'll be so happy that you've tried these new experiences out. If you've never tried ice skating or golfing or starting your own social club, go ahead and do it. Just try all these new things and you can have more stories to tell throughout your life, and it'll be so much more interesting, and you'll be so happy that you stepped outside your comfort zone. If you feel awkward being at that get together, if you don't know anybody, just try to talk to some new people, you know, put yourself out there. And whenever you do these things and you try these new experiences, you're gonna gain more self-confidence, and you're gonna be so glad that you put yourself through all these different experiences. And the second thing that I've learned is learn how to say no to people. You don't always have to say yes for whenever people ask you to do something. You know, you've got a busy schedule too. So if you constantly add to your plate, if you constantly say yes to people over and over and over again, you're gonna fill your plate up and you're gonna be so busy to where it's gonna be really stressful on you. And not only that, but people can also take advantage of you if you keep on saying yes all the time. So you gotta learn how to prioritize things in life and what to put first, what to put second, what to put third. The third thing that I've learned, and this is gonna sound really generic, but it's really important, is to be kind and to love everyone, including your enemies, as hard as it is. Because let's face it, there's a lot of darkness in the world. There's a lot of evil going on. People don't treat each other the way they should for a lot of the times. We're all really individualistic, especially in the United States where we only care about ourselves. So if you can be a light to the world and shed the light on others, then you can really make an impact and a difference on people, and it'll make your day too for being a service to others. And by you loving your enemies, this is an opportunity for you to be the bigger person and for you to make a difference in that person's life for the better. And let's face it, in life, it's all about who you know and the relationships that you have. So if you're nice and kind to others, that can open doors for job opportunities or other things, and you're gonna be so glad that you were kind to that person and that led you to that opportunity. The fourth thing is to take risks. A lot of people go through life and they don't take any risk on anything. You'd be surprised with how many people are on their deathbed if you ask them, what's your biggest regrets? And they'll say, man, I wish I would have traveled to that other country whenever my friend asked me to go. I wish I would have gone to talk to that girl when I saw her at the restaurant. I wish I would have started that business that I wanted to do so I didn't have to do this 9-to-5 office job every day for the rest of my life. There's so many things, the list goes on and on, but the fact is you need to take a risk, and that's how you really start living, is by taking those risks. And you know what? You're gonna fail, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail over and over and over again, but you know what? That's better than other people that don't try at all, because most people don't even make an effort and they don't try. So take the risk. Yes, you're gonna fail again and again and again, but eventually you will get it. And it depends on how bad you want it in life. If you want it bad enough, then you're gonna push hard, you're gonna fight through it, and you're gonna get to that. So take the risks, it's always worth it. You don't wanna get to the end of your life and say, what if I would have done this? Take the risk. If someone asks you to go travel, go travel. If an opportunity comes up for you to start a business, start the business. Don't put it off till tomorrow or the next day, do it today. And number 5 is grit it out. This ties into number 4 a little bit, but people usually give up. A lot of people don't usually keep pushing whenever times get tough. Whenever things get tough, they quit, they stop. If a relationship's getting tough, they leave. If a marriage is getting hard, they divorce. If a job's getting tough, they leave. If someone has a really cool idea for a project they want to start, they usually think about it, but they don't act on it. Or if they do act on it, they start doing it for a little bit, but then things get tough, they get challenging, so they quit. But you have to push through when things get tough, because this really says a lot about your character. If you're one that keeps on pushing when times get tough, then you are a strong individual, and there's not many people like you. So if you're like that and you push through when times get tough, then give yourself a big pat on the back, because you are probably 1% of the population. What I've learned about this too is that nobody's gonna do the work for you. You have to put in the work. If you want something bad enough, you gotta push hard, you gotta grit it out to get to it. Number 6, learn from others' mistakes so you don't make those same mistakes. So here's a few examples for you. Let's say you know someone that they have a nice car, they have a fancy house, they're wearing really nice clothes, but really they're spending more money than what they make per month. And is that really worth it? They're just trying to impress people that they don't care about, or people that don't even care about them, all because they just want to blend in and look cool. Is going into debt really worth it? Or maybe you see someone that has their own business and they use a certain marketing strategy and you're wanting to start your own business. And if you see that their marketing strategy doesn't work, then don't do that same marketing strategy. They did all the work for you by showing you that that doesn't work. So try a different approach. Or if you know someone that's in a toxic relationship and they're telling you about all these red flags they see on the other person, take note of those red flags. And if you're dating someone, then if you see red flags in people like that, then that's a sign that you probably shouldn't be in that relationship and you need to find someone else. Number 7, this one is really important. Follow your own path. It's so easy to get influenced by other people around you and what they're gonna do, especially in high school and college. People are talking about, well, what kind of career should I do? Should I go for the path that my friend's gonna go on? When I was in college, one of my friends was going for physical therapy. One of my other friends was going for construction. And so there was times I was thinking to myself, man, should I follow those same paths because my friends are doing it? Or am I actually passionate about doing those things? And I thought to myself, I'm not passionate about doing those things. I wouldn't be satisfied in life. But thankfully, I took my own path and I love what I do for a living. My job is awesome. I get to wake up every single day and go to a job that I love, and it's great. But a lot of people out there, if you talk to people and actually ask them the question, hey, are you happy in life? Are you happy at your job? A lot of people are gonna say, no, I'm not happy. This isn't my dream job. I'm not satisfied. I only live for the weekends. You don't wanna live your life where you're only actually living 2 days out of the week and you hate the other 5. So think about what you're really passionate about, think about your hobbies, and pursue those things, and you can make a living on what you're passionate about. But also, following your own path, you have to realize that everyone is at a different stage of life. Some people move out of the house whenever they're 20 and they go to an apartment. Some people don't move out of the house till they're 28. I mean, everyone's got a different path. So don't be comparing yourself to others and be like, oh man, well, my friend's already married. They already have a kid at this point. They're already moved out of the house. Don't worry about all that, because everyone's got their own journey. Everyone moves at their own pace. You know, some people graduate college in 4 years. It took me 7 years to graduate college because I couldn't take full-time classes. I had to actually pay my own way through, and I don't want to go through student loans. So it's okay. Don't feel like you're behind from everybody else. You've got your own story. Everybody else around you has their own story too. Number 8, most friends aren't your true friends. Now, I think a lot of us figured this out after high school or college, and we think back and say, why am I not friends with that person anymore? Why did we stop talking? And this has been on my mind a lot recently too, but I think that back in high school and college, you're all convenience friends because you're all conveniently in the same place at the same time 5 days a week because you have to go there. You're all the same age because you're in the same grade, and it's just an easy place to make friends. Nobody has to really reach out to people because you're all at the same place. But after you graduate high school and college, then people go their own ways. People move out of state, out of sight, out of mind, or maybe they're busy with family, they're having kids now. It takes an effort from both people to make a friendship work. You know, you have to reach out, you have to call, you have to text, you have to schedule time to hang out. It's not like you're going to the same place every day anymore. So a lot of relationships fall apart because people usually don't make efforts with each other, and that's the sad reality of it. Your life is like a highway. You know, you're driving on your highway of life, and you have other cars coming onto the highway, joining into your life, and those are your friends, and you're all driving down the highway together. But you know, some cars, they get off at earlier exits and they leave your life, And then those other cars, they keep on driving down the highway of life with you and they stay with you for a little while longer. Some cars leave a little bit later. But you know what? There's always new cars that get onto the highway of life and they're going to join you on that journey. It's just the sad reality of life that some cars get off the highway earlier than others, and not all the cars can last on the highway forever with you. Also, another thing that makes a true friend is that they're going to tell you things that you need to hear, not things that you want to hear. So if you have someone that's telling you things that you need to hear, they really do care about you, they really do love you, so keep those people in your life at all costs. Number 9, making friends as an adult is hard. The older you get, the harder it is to make friends, and it is not easy at all. Especially after you graduate college, you're going to understand how tough it is to really make friends. This one's been on my mind for a while now, and I think there's a few reasons why it's hard to make friends. Now, I don't think it's hard for me in the sense of actually talking to people and keeping conversations going, because I feel like I can be pretty outgoing with people when I want to be. I feel like one of the reasons it's hard to make friends is because of social media. With people being so conditioned to be on their phones all the time, that's going to cause people to lose their social skills and not being able to carry on conversations. So that's definitely one of the reasons, I think. Another reason too is going back to high school and college, you think about how you're all there at the same place and at the same time conveniently, but once you leave high school and college, nobody's going to the same place 5 days a week anymore. So I think it's harder to make friends because people are busier now after they graduate, and they're busy with families, they're busy with jobs, working full time, but on top of that, they don't have their mom and dad to do their laundry or cook for them anymore, so they're having to go home from their job, they're having to cook, they're having to clean, they're having to organize, they're having to do all their daily chores and everything and go shopping. And so there's not a lot of time left for really hanging out with people. But if there is, I feel like a lot of people are just drained. They're just tired from their jobs and they just want to rest. Now, it seems like a lot of people want to make friends. They say they do, but we're not really actually doing it. And the loneliness epidemic is real. The US Surgeon General came out last year and was talking about how the loneliness epidemic is a real thing. It's a big issue now. And so we need to be socializing with each other more. We need to be talking to new people more and boosting our social skills up. So let's put an end to this loneliness epidemic and let's actually talk to people. Make some friends. Number 10, show up prepared and be professional. You would be so surprised with how many adults can go to a job interview and not be prepared, not dressed the right way, or not knowing how to answer certain questions, or not having those social skills and knowing to make eye contact and shake hands. An example for me is that I'm the lead singer and guitarist for a rock band, and I was having band auditions to bring in some new band members. And I sent these potential band members songs to learn a couple weeks in advance probably. And I would expect them to come to practice knowing how to play their parts and knowing how to sing the vocal harmonies. They show up and I'm having to guide them through the whole entire thing. It's almost like they didn't even practice at all. And so for me, it's really frustrating because, you know, you should be professional, especially if you're an adult, you should know your stuff. And I feel like a lot of people are not professional and they don't come prepared, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be for a job interview or a band practice. It can be for anything. A lot of people just aren't prepared nowadays. So be the 1% and show up prepared and know your stuff, and you will stand out a lot in a very positive way. Number 11 is live in the moment. It's so easy to get caught up in other things and think about the future and what I have to do next week for work, or thinking about, man, when's the next time I get to go on vacation? Or maybe you're thinking about the past. Man, those times were so good whenever I was just 10 years old. Times were so easy back then. But try to focus on now, because life goes by so much faster the older that you get. And if you're constantly living in the past or thinking about the future, and to be honest, I need to do a better job at this too. If you can live in the moment and actually smell what's around you and look to see what's around you and use your senses and not think about what's in the past or the future and enjoy where you're at, then life is going to go by a lot slower for you and it's going to be a lot more enjoyable. So try to live in the moment and practice that. Number 12, this one you might not have thought about, but the social barriers are all in your mind. Now, what do I mean by social barriers? This could be as an adult after you graduate, but I'm mainly talking about the times whenever you're in middle school, high school, college, where you have these social barriers where you think, oh, they're a cheerleader, or oh, they're a football player, they're too cool, I can't go talk to them, or oh, they're a chess nerd, I can't go talk to them because then I'm going to be looked like a loser. These are all just barriers we put in our mind. You know, everybody is a person, everyone is valuable, everybody is cool to talk to, so talk to everybody. I know there's that shyness whenever you're in middle school and high school and you think that you wouldn't fit in with them or you'll be laughed and made fun of, but Looking back now, I just wish I would have talked to more people in school, because that doesn't carry with you. You're gonna think, oh man, everyone's gonna think of me as a nerd, or I'm gonna look stupid, but after you graduate, that's not gonna matter. Nobody's gonna think back and be like, oh man, that kid was such a loser. That stuff doesn't carry with you after high school. So if you're in high school, if you're in middle school, college, and you're watching the video, take those chances, talk to those people in class that you want to talk to, because chances are they probably want to talk to you too, but they're just too shy, nervous to do so. Just remember, the social barriers, it is all made up inside your mind. Everybody is a person, everybody is awesome, so go talk to people. And on top of that, you're probably going to make a lot more friends as well, as opposed to you not talking to anybody at all. So put yourself out there, put yourself in those situations to talk to different friend groups in school, and you'll be glad that you did. Number 13, most people don't care. You might be afraid to wear that dress because it stands out too much. You might be afraid to fix your hair in a cool new hairstyle because you're afraid people are going to make fun of you. But to be honest, most people are just thinking about themselves. They don't care what you do. And the older you get, the more you'll realize that. So be yourself, try new things, try that cool hairstyle, try those cool clothes on and wear it out in public, because most people aren't going to care what you're actually doing. And now another thing about that too is that if you're talking to someone, I've noticed this recently too, you can try to talk to people about deep conversations and get really personal, but a lot of people seem to not really care about your opinions as much unless they develop a relationship with you. So make an effort to actually develop relationships with people, develop that trust and rapport, and show kindness and compassion to people, and they're going to start to maybe care a little bit more about what you have to say. Because let's face it, people are not going to care about what you have to say until you show them how much you care. Number 14, adults are just bigger kids. That's all we are. Let's face it, kids argue and complain and bully each other a lot, especially in person, but online, if you go to Facebook groups, TikTok comments, adults, they bully each other a lot and they complain a lot, more than I thought they ever would. Whenever I was a kid, I thought of adults as being mature and having their lives put together and not really arguing with each other a lot, but the reality is, yeah, they're probably worse than kids. I was at a checkout line at a store a few days ago, and there was a woman next to me, and she was just cussing and getting mad at this guy behind her and telling him to go to the other line. It's like, dude, we're just getting groceries. It's not that big of a deal. Come on. Now, on a more positive note, adults are bigger kids in the sense that they might still have the same interests that they do whenever they were younger. You might still be interested in building Legos. That's still cool. You might still have an interest of playing video games like Nintendo Switch and Super Mario Bros. And Mario Kart. I still like to do that too. That's all right. There's a lot of adults that do. You might have liked to go exploring and hiking a lot as a kid, and you might still like to do that nowadays. But it's really important to keep that childlike attitude in you as an adult, because that's what keeps the spark and the fun and the creativity alive. Because if you lose that as you get older, then life kind of becomes more mundane and boring, and it's not as fun. So keep that inner child in you alive, because it'll make life so much more fun the older you get. Number 15, learn and master different skills when you're younger. The younger you are, the better. If you're wanting to play guitar, if you're 7 years old and you're starting guitar, imagine how amazing you're going to be whenever you're 15 years old. But if you're 20 years old and you're starting to play guitar, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you start at 20 years old, it's going to take you a while to master that instrument. And it's really important to learn and master those different skills at a young age, because you're going to be way ahead of everybody else in the game, and that's going to lead to more opportunities going your way instead of other people's way. Number 16 is to stay active. I know that sounds really basic and you've probably heard that a lot, but think about it this way. If you're staying active, that is an investment for your future self. Because if you're staying active, not only are you going to get the nice physical and physiological benefits now, but in the future, you'll be able to do things that most people can't do because they weren't active throughout their life. I want to be able to be an active dad. Whenever my kids get older, I want to be able to go outside and play football with them in the yard, go for runs with them, be able to hike up the mountains with them one day. Whenever I'm 60 years old, I want to be able to be active and do things that most other 60-year-olds can't do. And most people, when they get off work, they're too tired from their jobs. So what do? They go home, they sit on the couch, and they watch TV. And the next day, copy and paste, they do it all over again. Be different than everyone else. Go for that run, go for a bike ride, go play tennis, go do a karate class, go lift some weights at the gym. And you're going to see those energy levels increase the more that you're active, and you're going to invest in your future self and be so glad that that you did. But also being active, you're gonna have a way higher quality of life. You're gonna have more energy than most people have, and that is totally worth it. So be active and stay active throughout your life. Number 17, always pursue your spouse. Maybe you're in a marriage and things are getting stale and mundane and you don't know what to do and you don't feel that passion and spark. Maybe if you're not married, you're just in a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you feel the same way. If you don't pursue each other in the sense to where you're trying to do fun things and go on dates and get to know each other and be playful and have fun, then things are gonna get stale and boring. So you always got to be doing things together and having fun, talking to each other, really getting those conversations flowing, talk about new things, talk about your interests and hobbies, ask different questions that you've never asked before, try new hobbies that both of you have never done before to keep things alive. So flirt with each other, have fun, spend time together, and make sure you're always meeting your spouse's love languages. Number 18, be the change that you want to see in the world. You know, if you want to see more positivity, then you need to be that positive person to other people around you. You know, if you want to make friends, then you need to be a friend to others. If you want to try to help get rid of poverty, then be the person that donates to others that are in need. Like I said earlier, nobody's going to do the work for you. You have to be the person that puts in the work. If you want that change to happen, you need to be the first one to make that effort. And you know what? Whenever you're the first one to make that effort, people around you are going to see what you're doing and they're going to be attracted to that, and you're going to have more people come into your circle and join you on your journey for what you're trying to do to change the world. Just remember that you can make an impact. So stand up, lead by example to make a difference, and other people are going to follow and pay attention to what you're doing. Number 19, school is an indoctrination camp. Now, a few things in school that we learned were pretty valuable, like math, because we have to use math all the time. We do have to use English, knowing how to punctuate, how to write, how to read. Think about some of the subjects that you took. Were all those things really that valuable? But why was there no real life skills learned? I feel like there should be a life skills class in high school for everyone to take where they teach you how to change a tire, how to invest, how to do interviews the right way, proper etiquette, and just basic things that you need to know after you graduate high school. Also, they don't really teach you how to think for yourself in school. They just teach you what you should know, but they should be teaching you to think for yourself. That's something that we weren't really taught. We're just taught to follow what we're told and do what we're told. Also, on a side note, if you think there's anything in school that we were taught that's a lie, let me know in the comments below what you think those things could be. Because I definitely know of a few things that we've been lied about. And if you want to learn more about what those things are, let me know in the comments and I will send you some stuff that's going to blow your mind. Number 20, be careful with who you trust. I think it's so easy for us to go through life just trusting everyone that's around us, especially those that are older than us. But you got to be really careful. The older we get, the more we realize how much deception and lies there are in the world. People might come up to you and they might seem really nice on the outside, but on the inside, they might have some false motives. And if you keep that person around, then they might be really damaging to your life. You know, we've seen things like world leaders lie. Do we believe everything the government say? Do we believe everything the medical professionals say? Do we believe everything NASA says? This goes back to what I said earlier, is that you need to be thinking for yourself. Don't just believe someone because someone told you it's true. Research and look into it for yourself. Number 21, you can't make everyone like you. It is absolutely impossible to get everybody in this world to like you. I mean, I know we all want to be liked, especially whenever you're in school, college, even at your job, you want to be liked by everybody. I think we all want that. But the reality is that you can't make everyone like you. You shouldn't be worrying what other people think because everyone's going to have their own opinion. And whenever you're authentic, you're going to attract those like-minded people around you and you're going to develop that friend circle that way. And this all goes back to following your own path. If you're interested in trying out for theater, but you're afraid because all your friends are going to laugh at you and not like you, just do it anyway. If they don't like you, if they think you're dumb and crazy, then they weren't really your friends to begin with. Number 22, enjoy the stage of life that you're in. You might be in high school and you might be ready to be graduated. You might be ready to be moved out of your parents' house. You might be ready to retire from your job. But one of these days you're going to look back and you're going to wish that you can go back to those moments. You're going to wish that you can go back to high school even though at the moment you hated it. You might be ready to move out of your parents' house because they're driving you crazy. But one of these days, in 10 years, you're going to look back and say, man, I really miss whenever times were so much more simplistic back then. Or maybe you're ready to retire. Well, after you retire, you're going to look back one day whenever you were 30 or 40, and you're going to think, man, I miss those days whenever I had the health that I had the energy and the strength that I had back then, the time with my family. Be present in the moment. Enjoy where you're at, because one of these days you are going to look back and you're going to miss where you're at right now. Don't let this moment pass you by. Really try to live in the moment. Enjoy where you're at right now in your life journey. Number 23, nobody has life all figured out. Like I said earlier, it's so easy to be younger and you look up to people that are older than you and you think they have everything put together, they know exactly what they're doing. The reality is that we're all still learning every single day. We don't have it all figured out. We don't have it all put together. Life is a learning process. Number 24, everyone has a story. You might be sitting in a doctor's office waiting for your appointment and you look over and someone gives you the meanest face ever. Or maybe you're driving on the road and someone cuts you off and they speed past you. Well, think about it. The person in the doctor's office, maybe they just dealt with a divorce. Maybe they're dealing with kids that are really hard to raise right now. Maybe they're just really stressed with their job and they're not taking it out on you. They're not looking at you in a negative way, but they have other things that are going on. Or maybe the person on the highway that cut you off, they're driving to an appointment that they're really late for. Or maybe they're driving to take their kid to the hospital because they were really injured. I mean, you never know. But there's a story that everybody has. And to be honest, with everyone having their own story, we all just want someone to be able to listen to us and to understand. You know, that person that's angry, go talk to them, try to love on them, try to be compassionate, and they'll tell you their story and they'll be so glad that you were there to listen to them. So take the time to try to talk to that person, try to understand them and empathize with them and learn their story, because we all have one. Number 25, depression and anxiety are more common than you think. Coming from someone that dealt with a lot of anxiety about 10 years ago, I can attest that anxiety is very, very real. It's not something that's just in your head. You know, some people might say to you, well, it's all just in your head. You're just making it up. It's not real, but it is actually real. And people don't really talk about it a whole lot. Anxiety and depression can be so bad to where you don't want to leave your house. Your house is your safe zone, your comfort zone, and you don't want to leave that. You're afraid to go do things. You're afraid to go to your job. You're afraid to go to friends' houses because of your anxiety. And it seems like not a lot of people are there to actually listen to you and what you have to say about your anxiety. Most people don't seem to really care about that. But if you have depression and anxiety, if you're going through a hard time, try to find someone to reach out to that you trust, your parents, maybe your closest friend, and try to talk to them about what you're going through. Try not to bottle that stuff up because it's going to feel a lot better getting that out. And just remember, you're not stuck in this forever. If you have depression or anxiety, you're going to get through this. Just make sure, stay strong, fight through it, and just know that you're not alone. And I'm right here with you. I understand exactly what you're going through. And if you want to share your story with depression and anxiety with what you're going through, put your thoughts in the comments below and I'll be happy to reach out to you and make conversation with you on this journey that you're going through. Number 26, body language is critical. I didn't realize this till I was older, but it's all about how you're standing. It's all about your posture. It's all about your tone of voice. It's all about your hand gestures and your movements. And body language can be the difference whether you come across as confident or whether you come across as nervous and shy, or maybe you hate the world. Really be conscious about your body language because that is the majority of communication with how we come across to people. Whether you realize it or not, we all pay attention to each other's body language. So make sure your body language is positive. Number 27, nothing temporary brings eternal joy. You know, a lot of people say that money can buy happiness. Money can buy you a lot of things, but is it really going to make you happy? You see all these celebrities in the world that have all the fame, all the fortune, and they are one of the most miserable people in the world. Things that you buy, one day you're not going to have interest in them anymore. Things are going to perish. And let's be honest, to get really deep, whenever you die, you can't take any of this stuff with you. So does this stuff really even matter anyways? Filling this empty void that you have in your life with things, it's going to work for maybe a temporary amount of time, but that's going to wear off and it's ultimately not going to last. It's not going to bring you eternal joy from buying the latest thing that everyone else is buying. What I found out too after all these years is that if you're experiencing things with people that you love, those are the kinds of things that really do last, is relationships. So focusing on relationships with other people, especially those that are close to you and those that you love. Number 28, change up the routine. Don't just do the same mundane task over and over again every single day. Maybe do things out of order a little bit. You know, all of us have a daily routine we like to follow. Maybe try adding in something different than usual. If you like going on walks later on after work, try going on a different pathway instead of the same one you always go on. If you have any pets and you usually just hang out with them at the house, take your dogs to the dog park. Take your dogs for a walk and play fetch. Never played an instrument before? Learn how to play an instrument. Or if you haven't talked to that family member or friend in a long time, make an effort, video call them or ask them to meet up and hang out. Change things up so it's not the same thing over and over again and it's going to make your life way more exciting. Number 29, whether you realize it or not, we actually all have a deadly disease called sin. We've all done things throughout our life that's bad, whether it's lying, whether it's stealing, whether it's hating somebody else, whether you've actually killed somebody. I hope that you haven't. Or maybe you've coveted something that someone else has. And in God's eyes, the one that made all of us and gave us this conscience of right or wrong and this morality standard, We've all sinned against God. We've all done something wrong, and we're deserving of punishment before this almighty creator. And he has a standard, and we've fallen short of that standard of living up to this perfect lifestyle because we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. The beauty of it is that while we are all still sinners, while we were all still screwing up, God still loves us, and God sent his one and only son to live that perfect life that we can never live. He never lied, he never stole anything, never hated anybody, never did anything wrong. And for him to live that perfect life that God has that high standard for that we can never live up to, for his son to live that perfect life for us and to die as a perfect sacrifice before God for us, if we have faith that God sent his one and only son to do that for us, to be that perfect sacrifice before him, then we get to experience that eternal life. And for us, there would be no eternal death. We would get to live with God and our other Christian brothers and sisters forever, all because of what God did for us, nothing that we did. If you want to become a follower of Christ, and if you want to pass from death to life, to experience that eternal life, the Bible says that you need to repent of your sins, leave your old lifestyle behind. If you are lying and cheating and stealing and committing adultery and all these things and coveting, leave all that stuff behind, turn away from all that, and trust that God sent his one and only son to live and to die as the perfect sacrifice before God for us. And you will experience the eternal life that he offers. As you walk on this new journey of being a born-again Christian, as the Bible says, you'll be able to talk with God and experience his love and joy and peace. As you start to grow on your Christian journey following Christ, you're going to see more things in your life like peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, and you're going to see how you change and how you became a new person for the better. And so those are the top 30 things that I've learned throughout my life. What are some things that you've learned throughout your life? Let me know your story in the comment section. What was the biggest takeaway out of all 30 things in this video for you? What stood out the most to you that you resonated with? If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.